More than 37 million people are living with HIV, and the good news is that many are thriving because they are prioritizing their health and well-being. HIV advocates Daniel Garza and Kamaria Laffey say having brave talks is one of the most important things that you can do. Welcome, you two.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
I'm happy to have you here, Daniel. I want to start with you. Let's talk about what is the most challenging aspect of having these conversations.
Sure. First of all, thank you for having us on behalf of Positively Fearless and Janssen Pharmaceuticals. We're happy to be part of the show. One of the biggest barriers, especially in the Latino community, has been since I was young, the culture, the social norms, the religious side of it. It definitely feeds into the stigma, shame, and silence when it comes to sex and sexuality, which is so connected to HIV. So for as long as I can remember, we never had the conversations, which I believe led to me not being prepared to have the prevention and the education that I needed.
Absolutely. And Kamaria, as a woman living with HIV, what have you learned over the years to help you live positively fearless?
Over the years, since 2003, when I was diagnosed, I've learned how to be the voice that I didn't have before my diagnosis. So, operating in intention and having those fearless conversations with myself first, preparing myself for scary outcomes and knowing that I will be okay, even if that is the outcome. But making sure that I prioritize myself first in any of those. Spaces that can be a little frightening or stressful. That's helped me be positively fearless.
And Daniel, you touched on this a little bit, but for the Hispanic and Latino community specifically, what are those barriers and opportunities that you've seen when it comes to having these brave conversations, as Kamaria was talking about?
Yeah, so as Latinos, I mean, we're an immigrant country. So Latinos, we come to the country and we have those ideas of our culture, of our religions, the stigma of talking about sex. We have this idea that if we talk to the young people about sex, we're encouraging them to do it. But it's more about preparing them for what's out there. And HIV is definitely still out there. 40 years, we're still talking about it. Me growing up, my parents did not want to talk about sex and sexuality, which I really believe held me back by being fully prepared and mature. So we need to talk about these things. We need to have more conversations.
And having those conversations earlier definitely makes sense. And Kamaria, I want to ask you how you have self-advocated to find the right healthcare provider and treatment plan, because I know that's important as well.
It really is. And it's been an ongoing journey. Most recently, finding out that there's a side effect of my treatment, my antiretroviral treatments that cause weight gain. I've dealt and struggled with weight gain most of my adult life. So finding out this information and going to my healthcare provider and saying, okay, let's have a conversation about what does my relationship look like with food in comparison to what this medication is doing to my body and the time of day I take it or the dosage and my medical history. Like, so look at all of this besides just the fact that I'm overweight.
Absolutely. So doing that research on your own and then taking that to your medical provider is really important information. Of course, we want to offer our viewers resources that they would recommend or that you would recommend for those living with HIV. Where can we find those resources to help them live positively?
Yeah, so you can visit us at positivelyfearless.com, where one, you have access to other ambassadors such as Daniel and myself. Hopefully there's 6 of us all together, and I'm sure someone you can relate to. There's also opportunities to download a resource guide that will help you build a conversation with your healthcare provider or friends and family, and you can use those resources to live positively fearless as well.
Wonderful. I want to thank you both for being with us. We really appreciate it, and we'll be right back with more Midday Maryland right after this. Stay tuned.